I had seen quite a lot of theory videos that people have made on the Legend of Zelda series over the years. Some of them being very well known, and others not so much. And I get the feeling that this is probably going to be one of the not so much known theories. But I figured that I would make such a video about it anyway. Now, in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, there is this moon that is coming down to crash down onto Clock Town, pretty much destroying everyone and everything in the process. And there are quite a lot of people who are in Clock Town that will disappear by the end of the third day. But where exactly do they all go? We know that the apprentice for the carpenters goes to the Ocean Spider house once we have cleared all of the Gold Skull Tulas from there on the first day. Well, actually, you can clear the house on any of the 3 days. However, on the Nintendo 64 version, you have to do it on the first day in order to get the giant wallet, as doing it on any of the other days will just give you rupees. But in the 3DS remake, you can do it on any of the 3 days, which I think was a huge improvement overall. Another group of NPCs that we actually do know where they are on the night of the final day would be Anju's family at the Stockpot Inn, where they flee to Romani Ranch during the night of the final day. But what about the other NPCs in the game? It's very likely that most of the NPCs that are found in the game probably have gone somewhere in which we will never see them again. Although most of them do appear in the end credits for Majora's Mask, indicating that they realized that the threat had been resolved, and they went ahead and proceeded with the Carnival of Time. Now, something that many fans of Majora's Mask know about is that there are many NPCs that are recycled from Ocarina of Time. There have been some people who theorize that this could be perhaps limbo for Link, like this could be like the world of the dead or the world between life and death. But I personally do not believe this sort of theory. But as far as I know, Nintendo has neither confirmed or deconfirmed this rumor. There are some NPCs in Majora's Mask that are not recycled from any NPCs from Ocarina of Time. One in particular being the Receptionist over at the mayor's residence. Now, this is a character who has a completely new character model, so we never see her at any point in Ocarina of Time. Although I did have her appear in Legend of Kyuranger Adaptation of Time, in which she appears in place of the Fisherman. Although I'm not entirely sure if this is where she would have been if she had appeared in Ocarina of Time at all. But there have been some people that had also made some theories that maybe a character in Majora's Mask doesn't necessarily have to resemble a character from Ocarina of Time in order to count as a counterpart. If they happen to have one or two things in common, that could be enough to indicate that they are indeed a counterpart to that character. Well, I think that if this is the case, I think that the closest character that the Receptionist could be a counterpart of would have to be Saria. Now, the whole reason for this is, well, for one thing, they both have green hair. And I think that they are the only Zelda characters to have green hair. At least the only ones between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. If there are any in the other Zelda games, well, I don't know about those. And there is a chance I might be forgetting one other character in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but I can't think of any at the moment. Now, of course, there are a couple of other differences as well, such as how while Saria is a Kokiri, who is a child that never grows up, the Receptionist is a full-grown woman, and obviously not a Kokiri for starters. And the second would have to be the color of their clothes, such as how Saria wears green, while the Receptionist wears gray and red. And there's also their eye color, such as how Saria has blue eyes, but the Receptionist has brown eyes. And the Receptionist also has freckles on her face, but Saria does not. Now, what does this have to do with a theory on where the receptionist could have gone to on the third day? Well, from playing around Majora's Mask so much, I had noticed that out of all of the characters in Clocktown that do disappear on the third day, the receptionist is the only one that is already gone when the third day begins, as most other NPCs in Clocktown don't disappear until nighttime, such as, for example, anyone who is running the mini games and the shops all around Clocktown. The treasure chest shop, gone. The trading post, gone. Given as to how most NPCs in Majora's Mask cannot be found anywhere on the night of the final day, they probably could have fled to any place, but I'm guessing that the game developers didn't bother to actually allow the player to actually find them in these areas. It would have been cool to see what they were up to or what they were doing to take refuge from the moon falling. But it does bring in an interesting theory, which by no means is canon, but I just thought that I would mention it anyway. Now, something that I had noticed is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of places that the residents of Clocktown could live at. Obviously, the Stockpot Inn is a hotel, and there are only 2 guest rooms. And then there's also the room where we see Anju and Cafe unite on the night of the final day, should we get all the way through that side quest. And there is also Anju's grandmother's room, which is on the bottom floor. Now, I had also noticed that all around Clocktown there are windows on the walls, but there is no way to even get inside of these places. But given as to how there are windows there, does give me the indication that they could in fact be living places. Although if you want to come with the conclusion that maybe most of the residents of Clocktown don't actually live there, and that they might actually have a house somewhere else out in Terminia that is never shown in the game, then that is just fine. Now, a couple years back, I did do a short animation on one possible location that the receptionist could have ran to on the night of the third day, which would be in the grotto found outside of the Astral Observatory, where in the game normally, you would find a business scrub there who sells you a piece of heart in exchange for not telling anyone about the secret grotto. Now, of course, the receptionist isn't actually found in this area per se. Yeah, trust me, I actually have gone to this grotto on the night of the third day, and there is nobody there. Oh well. But then I had come up with another interesting idea. You know how there are the woods of mystery that are found in the southern swamp? Well, what if the receptionist had gone there, or even came from there? Like, who exactly is she? And what is her purpose? And why did she come into Clocktown? There should be some explanation as to why she disappears on the third day besides the moon coming down onto Terminia, but there is also the fact that she's actually gone right when the third day starts, rather than her just being there until night of the final day comes in. Now, call me crazy, but I did at one time actually wait outside of the mayor's residence all throughout the second night and all the way up until the moment that the residence opened on the third day, just to see if I could see anyone coming in or going out of the mayor's residence. Of course, I didn't see anyone go in or out of the mayor's residence, but then again, that happens to be the case for a lot of NPCs in the game. Granted that if the receptionist did go into the Woods of Mystery, assuming that she may have even come from there in the first place, I am pretty much guessing that she probably would not be found anywhere in which you could actually find her, especially considering that on each of the 3 days, the paths for the Woods of Mystery keeps changing, and there may be some areas that you could visit on some days that you can't on others. Well, that's just a little interesting theory that I thought that I would come up with. Again, this probably is not going to be that well known of a theory in any Zelda lore, but I just thought that I would post this anyway. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Hey there guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more videos from me, click on any of the video links that show up on the screen. And also feel free to subscribe to my channel, and if you can, share this video on all your social media if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.